So this is my 1,195 pound capacity Harbor Freight trailer. It's kind of hard to find videos about these, I'm going to be honest. They're unobtainium to find anyone in the past decade who's actually talked about these, the good and the bad. So they are nice little trailers. I think I paid $379 for this, and then these 2x6x8s I paid $4 a piece. There's 8 of them, even though it's not quite 4 feet. I think I paid like $30-something for those, $32 plus tax, who knows, $34. So I've got about $400 in this. So the reason I've done this is because I have 2 trucks and I wanted to race my dirt bike a lot this year, but I didn't want to have to spend $90 just to get there. So I went ahead, I found this trailer. Actually, I tracked it down. I drove an hour and a half just to find it at the store. And whenever I picked it up, it came in 2 boxes. One of them was like the wheel spindle assembly. It was a goofy packaging, I'm going to be honest. Nothing was really labeled that well, but luckily the instructions they're decent. So this thing is held together with just fasteners, just bolts and elastic stop nuts that I didn't necessarily trust. So every single joint that all these come together, I just welded. You can also buy a welder from Harbor Freight. They're really cheap. Just flux core. I just ground it off. So this is actually from my Grom clone crate, and these are the legs that are supposed to attach back here. So this trailer is supposed to fold in half, but I think when it's in that form, it's junk. Like it just flexes entirely, way too much. It's crazy. Like whenever I first put it together, I almost didn't want to use it until I started welding it together. And I don't know if you can see now, I have it unpinned. So it actually tilts. This is the one feature I kept. I don't know, you can't hardly tell. It's so much more rigid. But it does tilt. It comes with 2 pins. I might replace these pins. But all these welds I'm not the biggest fan of. Like that just doesn't look like it has any penetration. No, this thing is supposed to come with, you're supposed to put a 4x8 piece of plywood on there. I just don't think it's going to last very long. And I kind of wanted to keep this trailer around. And since it's under 3,000 pound capacity with the weight of the trailer and its max payload, I actually got a lifetime registration. To register it was like $90. It's pretty cheap. But altogether, it's been a decent little trailer. It pulls well. It's a little stiff. I kind of wish it wasn't. It does sit a little high. So I had to buy this hitch, this lift. I don't know, it's like 4.5 inch rise. But this axle, I wonder if you can see it under here, is just a C channel with these like spindle studs welded in there. I thought about flipping the axle and putting it on top of these, because it's not like, I mean, there's not a whole lot of room in there, but this trailer really doesn't bounce much. Like the suspension is just so incredibly stiff. It's perfect for, pulling behind a car. I think the actual trailer weighs 249 pounds, at least that's how much it ships. And then with 8 2x6s, I think that's like 150 pounds. So, you're in the neighborhood of 500 pounds, roughly 400 pounds, after you have everything on there. I don't really care for these fenders, I'm going to be honest. Plus the light kit that came on them is pretty junk. That's the downfall of these. So if you just want a trailer that's just going to run, I'd probably just go to Tractor Supply. But for me, I've got $400 in this, and it works perfect. Like it can basically haul anything that I would need to haul behind it, especially since I added this. There are mounts, actually. This is one of the mount I used. There's mounts so that you can actually turn this into like a 2x4 structure that goes all the way around it, but truth be told, that's not what I want to do with it. I can always just strap it to the C channel. It's a decent design, honestly. You can kind of tell. It's not terrible. This is a little flimsy. It's pretty dirty though. This is flimsy, and the actual tongue of the trailer, because of where I stuck the actual, what the heck is that even called? That thing. Whenever I stand on it, you can see it flexing just a little bit, and that's the only movement. And I could have gotten away with getting rid of it if I just welded it solid. But This is too cool of a thing. I can load my lawnmower on here. I thought about putting some ramps on here, just like hideaway ramps that tuck underneath. But I don't know. It has been an amazing little trailer. The grease that comes inside the actual wheel bearing itself. These wheel bearings are actually pretty cheap. You can get it for like 20 bucks on Amazon. You know, they ship in a day. Well, if you have Prime. But it's junk. It feels like wax. It feels... Not that grease is not supposed to feel like wax, but it's so thick. So I just went ahead, I cleaned all of it out the best that I could with my shop rags, and then I filled it with marine grade grease. But I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with lights and where I want to mount. I'm thinking about getting rid of these and replacing them with something better. You can kind of see they flex a little bit too much. But any of these cars, man, I just went, how far did I go? 50 miles, and I averaged 34 miles to the gallon behind my little Ford Focus. It's such a sweet little gig. And the thing is there's a lot of people who want to be able to haul things, you know, 4x8s and pieces of wood. I mean, you could probably strap a 2x12 on here as long as it's vertical. You could probably hang it, depending on what state you're in. No, but this is perfect. It eliminates your need for a truck. I have a truck, but I only use it to pull the boat. But it's a sweet little trailer. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments down below.